You're listening to WRUU-LP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings, community radio with global soul.
Check, check, 1, 2. Look like a little country, some rock and roll and blues. 'Cause we sure love playing for good people like you. Let me know if you can hear me. Check, check, 1, 2.
Welcome to Music Local and Sustainable, the radio show that features discussions with and the music of local musicians. I am your host, Dave Lake. Tonight, we have in the studio Nathan Rodriguez. Nathan is a local singer-songwriter and heads the band Dead Oak. Welcome, Nathan Rodriguez.
Thanks for having me.
When did you get interested in music?
I've been interested in music pretty much my entire life. My parents were very supportive, and me and my brother being creative, and my father played guitar and sang, and my mother played piano, so they made sure to make musical instruments available to us pretty much from the get-go. I think I got my first guitar from my dad when I was about 10. I think that's when I really took an interest in things. We had been playing piano before that, but in that forced setting of go to your lessons and practice for a certain amount of time a day, and that kind of took the fun out of it, I think. And when I started playing guitar, I got to kind of dictate my own schedule, and that's when I really got into it.
So with guitar, there wasn't formal lessons?
There was a little bit where I'd go and learn how to tune the guitar, and I learned the open chords, but pretty much after that, it was all self-taught and self-driven. It wasn't really my thing to go sit in a room with somebody for an hour and just do the same thing over and over and over again. I really had to put myself into the instrument in order to have any fun with it and to want to progress.
Now, your brother's involved in music, did that have any influence? Your brother A.M. Rodriguez?
It didn't, in kind of a weird way. Obviously, I saw him doing his thing growing up, but I almost found it more intimidating in that sense and less encouraging. I had to look up to him, and he already knew how to do things that I couldn't do, and he excels in certain aspects that I don't. So I really had to kind of lock myself away from him and what he was doing in order to feel confident enough to keep pursuing it.
And so you picked up the guitar and started playing, and what happened after that?
I pretty much kept to myself in my room for years and years, and I wrote a lot of songs. I set up a little recording on my desktop that I had at home. I'd pretty much come home from school and write songs and then record them myself, and then listen back and try different things, layer my vocals over each other, stuff like that. And I probably wrote 30 or 40 songs between 8th grade and 9th grade. And that's where I was really getting into music and playing a lot.
Did you start playing out then?
I never really played out much until about a year ago when I moved down here to Savannah. Once in church, once trying to get into Battle of the Bands in high school, and then another time just at a community event, I played a couple songs. But I was really afraid of that, and I pretty much just stuck to myself in my room till recently.
What changed?
I needed a change in life. There's a song I used to listen to that really meant a lot to me, and pretty much said that you have to pursue your childhood dreams or your youth is wasted and insincere. And I wanted to follow my dreams.
And why come here to Savannah?
I'd come to visit my brother down here, and I just loved the town. I had a great feel to it. And I came from Boulder, Colorado, which didn't have much of a live music scene that I could find. I found a lot of electronic music and a lot of jammy bluegrass, which is not my thing, and I enjoyed it, but there was nowhere for me to fit in, really. And when I came down here to Savannah, it was just live music after live music, and I got to talk to all these musicians, and I was like, yeah, this is where I want to be. This is a great place.
It's interesting because Boulder's the home of the University of Colorado, and one would think that there would be a lot of demand for music of different types.
Yeah, it's really kind of a niche up there. And I think that has a lot to do with kind of that Boulder, almost hippie mentality, where they wanted things they can just kind of relax and listen to for long periods of time, like jam bands and bluegrass instrumentals and electronic music. There's huge market for that up there. But I didn't find a lot of singer-songwriters. And the ones I did were mostly sitting on a street playing for change.
Busking for a living.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. That's interesting. It's really interesting, the difference between Savannah, which is a very small town, and Boulder, which is probably about the same size as...
It feels about the same size to me. I think sometimes Boulder feels a little bit smaller because I kind of forget about the south side here. And when I start making the journey out there, it feels bigger to me here. Yeah, I've never been much of a big city guy, so these are all... Boulder and here are pretty big cities to me as far as I'm concerned.
Where did you come from before Boulder?
Before Boulder, I lived outside of Houston, Texas, a suburb. It's called the Woodlands. Not a very large place. You get across the whole thing in about 20 minutes. Lived there from about 10 to 18. So most of my high school years, junior high years were there.
Did you go to University of Colorado?
I did. I was actually born in Boulder, Colorado. So when I got the choice to go wherever I wanted, that's the only college I applied to. I knew that there was one place I wanted to be, and so that's the only place that I went to go.
What was your major?
I majored in molecular biology and double majored in neuroscience.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Doesn't seem to fit with a musical lifestyle.
No, I was always really good at science, and my father did a lot of science. So I did some internships at a pharmaceutical company in high school, and I was really good at it, and I liked it a lot. And I was like, yeah, I'll go to college, make a bunch of money, and be a scientist. But turns out that was not my thing.
Didn't work out in that direction?
No. Even though I was good at it, I just had problems with the university in general, and it just never really seemed to fit for me to be there. I ended up going to a community college and getting an EMT license. And that was kind of more at my speed, something smaller and more personal.
You then decided to come down here.
Came down here. I decided I didn't want to be an EMT, and I wanted to do something that I had never really had the courage to do before, which was play music for people.
And how did you get over that fear of playing music out?
That largely came because of the support that I had. I had a particularly rough night where a friend of mine committed suicide. I had written a song myself about a time when I was feeling very suicidal. And I told my brother that I needed to play this song to get these feelings out. And I played for him and a couple other people. And as soon as that was done, they just looked at me and said, "What else you got?" And so I played another song. And then they asked me to play another one. And so I played another one. And before I knew it, Anderson was asking me if I could go play a show with him and open up for him. So I was kind of like, okay, I've played for you, 5 people. I guess I can go play in front of whoever else now.
And who is that again?
Oh, Anderson's my brother. Yeah, A.M. Rodriguez.
So he goes by A.M. and not Anderson.
He's been going by A.M. for about 2 or 3 years now. I grew up calling him A-Rod. He's got a lot of names.
So he asked you to open up for him?
Yep. He asked me to open up for him about a month after I moved down here at Hangfire. And I opened up for him in a band called The Gumps. It was crazy. It was a lot of fun. I never really felt that connection to people with my music before. And for the first time, I felt connected to a crowd. I had something to offer musically.
What kind of performances have you done since? Where do you often play?
I often play at the Jinx. I really like to hit the open mics around town, though. I think that's probably my favorite thing to do, is go out and play a couple songs and then hear people play a couple songs and really share. Most of the shows I've played have been at the Jinx, either solo or with my band accompaniment.
Well, let's talk about the band. Dead Oak. What's the origin of the name?
I was kind of just firing names back and forth with my brother A.M. We came up on Dead Oak. And as soon as it was said, there was this imagery in my mind that really stuck with me. I pictured something that had lived a life and suffered and died and still stood strong. I think that image of something having suffered and standing strong, I really connected with that. So I feel good about that name.
And how would you characterize the music of Dead Oak?
It's very, very singer-songwriter driven indie rock. But I write with the intent of accompaniment.
And who makes up Dead Oak? Who are the performers?
Predominantly me, and I rotate in and out some other band members. I'll have my brother A.M. play drums with me, or I'll have him play bass. And I've also had James May from the band Black Tusk play drums with me. The reason that I named the band Dead Oak instead of Nathan Rodriguez and such band was that I wanted to leave it open to me playing by myself and having accompaniment in whatever form or whoever wants to play with me. And I'm hoping that it develops into a larger thing with more accompaniment than just bass and drums.
Let's talk about some of your songs. There was one that was titled only BF. It was the song You Looked at Me with Those Bloodshot Eyes. Does that have a title now?
That song never really came to have a proper title. I wrote that song a long time ago with a friend in high school. We just gave it a random title. And since I wrote that song with him, nothing's ever really seemed to fit as a title that I come up with. And so I've just left it those initials.
It's a very interesting song. What was the origin of it?
The origin of that song is about, I was working closer to Houston, and I met this girl who was working at a frozen yogurt shop. And it's mostly about my relationship with that girl and kind of how I felt about it. She had a boyfriend. I liked her anyways. And being young and naive, I thought, this is probably a good idea. I'm going to go for this. And not realizing that I was being used a little bit, and that I probably shouldn't be doing it anyways.
You made some comment about their boyfriend probably hated you, but this young lady was in the role, played the damsel in distress.
Yeah, she certainly made it seem like she didn't want her boyfriend and she wanted me because he was unaffectionate and couldn't give her what she needed. I still talk to that girl today, and she openly admits that was not true and that she was stringing me along. So I think she was definitely trying to make it seem like she was a damsel in distress so I could come rescue her and she could kind of live out that fantasy.
In the chorus you have, there's nothing left to love, there's nothing left to lose.
Mm-hmm. I took it really hard. I thought, here's this girl who's phenomenal and who I'm deeply in love with, and it turns out I was just being played the whole time. And that was right before I moved back to Colorado for a second time. So I was just kind of like, forget all this. Nothing matters. Leave, start a new life. There was nothing really to hold me back to Texas anymore.
But you're still in contact with her?
Yeah, I got back in contact with her probably 6 months ago.
Oh.
Saying like, hey, how you doing? And kind of catching up. She ended up leaving that guy and moving back to the same place she lived in Texas. She works at the same frozen yogurt place now. I think in the end it worked out better for me.
In the long run?
Yeah.
Would you like to do that song?
Sure, I can do that one.
Your boyfriend, oh, he
I guess. And the role you played was a damsel in distress. Manipulate a sweet talking thing. Now at night I need a harder drink. Bloody broken rose. There's nothing left to love, so there's nothing left to lose. Bloody broken rose. There's nothing left to love, so there's nothing left to lose.
Have you shared that song with her?
I don't know if I have. If I did, it was probably right when I wrote it, about 3 years ago. I have not told her that I still played it.
Okay.
If I ever played it for her.
That might be a very interesting conversation.
I'm sure I'll show her after this comes out.
Refer her to the stream so she could listen herself, even as far away as a suburb of Houston, Texas.
I will make sure that she listens, and I'll let you know how that goes over. Yeah, we'll see if she still talks to me.
You're listening to Music Local and Sustainable, and I'm your host, Dave Lake. Tonight we have in the studio Nathan Rodriguez. One of the other songs I was particularly taken with is Shadows and Silhouettes.
Mm-hmm.
What's the origin of this song?
Again, that's a very early song that I wrote before I ever played for anybody. That song is almost a little less personal than some of my other ones because it's a bit more of a story than actuality. It just came about through being a young kid, going through some heartbreak, and needing a way to channel it.
It almost sounds like a one-night stand.
Yeah, and what it came from was a little bit more than that, but it was definitely, again, a situation where I thought it was kind of more of something, and it ended up just being kind of a fling. I was young. I didn't really know how to handle that or what to expect in the first place. So it was pretty much a one-night stand, and she saw some of my worst habits. Was not necessarily so taken with them.
And you have the line, "And I hate my fate, but it don't change. I hate my ways, but hate remains."
I didn't feel like I could escape that youthful anger that I had. While some people might be able to change themselves, I did not feel like I could. And sometimes I still feel like I can't, and that I am destined to be who I am forever, or some variation of that. And sometimes I don't think you can escape fate, and that's all right. You have to accept it.
So why don't we do that song?
Yeah.
Shadows and silhouettes form on my wall as we smoke cigarettes by candlelight and drink till we fall. And after it's over and you walk out my door, I pass out face down on the ground to miss you forevermore. And I hate my ways, but they don't change. And I hate my fate, but fate remains. The scent of your hair on my pillowcase as I'm weeping into it. I don't wanna replace the way you'd keep me warm, your indention on my bed. I don't wanna flip the mattress, oh no, I'd rather miss you instead. And I hate my fate, but it don't change. And I hate my fate, but hate remains.
Let's talk a little bit about your songwriting process.
Sure.
What comes first, lyrics or the music?
Traditionally, for me, the music comes first. I have to have a guitar part. I have to have some sort of instrumental for me to build on. And after I have that, I play. I just played that song over and over again, and I put words to it. Eventually, I kind of hit this series of words that just feels right, and I know that that's the song. And so I will play that series of words over and over and over again for 30 minutes. And then I'll take a break. I'll go do something else. I'll come back, and I'll try to recreate that and fill in whatever gaps I've forgotten. Do the same thing, play for another 30 minutes until I have kind of the finished product. But lately, I've been trying to challenge myself and be more of an actual songwriter and sit down and say, you need to write a song, and you need to write a song about this. I write down lyrics now for the first time and kind of build upon them that way. But for the most part, the songs that I've written have all been done guitar and then just me making up a song till it sounds right.
What are some of the musical inspirations that you have? What inspires you to write?
I wrote mostly for myself as a way of coping with my feelings, and they were never really intended to be shared. But once I did share my songs and I saw that connection with the audience, that people felt things from my music, I write so that people don't feel alone. The inspiration comes in the form of knowing that somebody might hear of one of my experiences and be able to relate to that. That's what keeps me going, is that this might matter to somebody one day, and that I've seen it matter to somebody before.
The writing of your music is very personal. It's not really inspired by any other performers. Is there any other performers that you find inspirational for perhaps performance?
Let's see, performance-wise, I really like the performance of the band Lucero. That to me has always had a lot of energy and excitement every time that I've gone to see them. And that music's also been charged with suffering and sadness and self-disdain, and I could feel that coming from them when they performed. But they also somehow managed to get me excited about it. And so I definitely think that's something I would like to achieve in my performances and that I look up to. Other than that, I'm still kind of trying to form how I perform. It's all kind of up in the air as I kind of solidify it into my own way.
Are there elements of performance that you find challenging? Are there elements of performance that you find easy?
I did find it challenging to be confident for a little while. I had to kind of pretend like everybody wasn't there for my first couple of shows. It's funny because now that seems almost the easiest part, is addressing the crowd, looking at people and playing towards them. Feeling like you're not messing up if you hit a wrong note, and letting that really sink in and like kind of staying with the energy of the show, I can find to be difficult sometimes. I like to criticize myself, and sometimes it's hard to wait till afterwards to do that. I get kind of caught up in it. So staying focused, if I make an error, can be difficult. But overall, I like performing, and I don't find it too difficult. Just put yourself out there and do the thing.
Now, your performances are all originals?
They, for the most part, are all originals. I did one cover song for a while that I haven't done in my last couple of performances. I covered the song Riptide by Vance Joy, which is kind of like a pop hit. But the way that I heard it wasn't really like that, and so the way I played it wasn't like that. It's a better song than the pop arrangement to me, and so I chose to play it because I heard something real in it. I think when I play that cover, other people hear something in that song that they haven't heard before. But being the only cover that I play, I kind of stopped doing that. Got burnt out on it after 5 or 6 times.
Why have you chosen not to put more covers into your shows?
I think it just stems from the whole reason that I play being to pour myself out and to let people connect with me. And just playing covers is something I haven't really done that much in my life. It's never really been that therapeutic for me. I like to play my own songs. Those are the ones that I feel the emotion in the most. If I do play a cover, there's probably a very special reason for it. So I'll play covers in my future, for sure. I have some in mind that I want to do, but I also want to take the time and bring them alive in my own way and not just kind of regurgitate them out. I really enjoy when other people play covers, and I like their versions of songs a lot, but I never really took to that too naturally. When I have done covers, people come up to me and tell me that that version of the song really sticks with them. So I don't know exactly what I change about them or how I play them, but I put something personal into it, I think, and people seem to respond to that. And there's definitely songs that I have nothing to add to, so I don't feel comfortable covering.
You're listening to WRUU-LP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings, community radio with global soul. If you enjoy the programming on WRUU-LP, please support the station with a donation. Basic memberships begin at only $50. Additional membership levels are available, and monthly or recurring donations are welcome as well. To check out our membership rates and to donate to the station, go to www.wruu.org/individual and select your preferred donation level. Again, to donate to the station, go to www.wruu.org/individual. Thank you for listening to and supporting WRUU-LP. You're listening to music local and sustainable, and I'm your host, Dave Lake. Tonight we have in the studio Nathan Rodriguez. Another one of your songs that is speaking to his disappointment in love is Wasted.
Mm-hmm.
What was the origin of that?
Wasted is not about anything or anyone in particular. It's about my love life. It's kind of these points that I noticed in a relationship that I was having, and also some things about myself and myself being broken that I noticed were problems, and other things like trying to cover up my sadness and my loneliness by going out and seeing a bunch of women and trying to make it seem like I'm okay. So I just wanted to sing about being broken, not necessarily the healthiest person, but also acknowledging that I was wounded too.
There's a very interesting line, and I'm a broken bottle, I'm some broken glass. Try to pick up my pieces and I'll cut you fast.
Yeah, that's about me. Just kind of being emotionally damaged as a person. And people come along into my life and they either think they can fix it from the get-go and they're wrong, or they see me being hurt and broken and eventually they want to try to fix it, and again they're wrong. I was not at a point where somebody could really help me out, and trying to help me was damaging to them. And I kind of have to acknowledge that. I have to acknowledge that I was almost kind of toxic for people at that point, and I was dangerous to get close to, and I wouldn't leave any sort of physical scar, but emotionally you'd get cut and scarred by trying to fix me.
There's another interesting metaphor in there that I don't fully grasp, so I'll have you help me grasp it.
Okay.
And that is, you're the 12-gauge shotgun with nothing to lose, and I'm the 410 shell in comparison to you.
410 shell's like a 20 gauge, so it's a smaller. Doesn't pack as much of a punch. And 12 gauge obviously has got a lot more kick to it. I kind of had this thing for girls who kind of more intense than me, and as much as I hate to admit it, I can be kind of a softie sometimes. Sad lines about that.
In what way?
The girl being the 12 gauge is just her being more intense than me. Her personality almost having that kind of recoil and that kick. Being a very fiery, intense, passionate person. And then me being a 410, just being smaller, not being quite as aggressive or intense and crazy, just being softer. For me, that was just a connection I made. There's a comparison between the two. When you fire them off next to each other, it's a noticeable difference. I noticed that difference in the girls that I was picking. I was picking some wild, crazy ones that had a lot more kick to it than I do myself.
It's interesting, too, the metaphor for the girl is the weapon itself. But the metaphor used for yourself is the shell, and not the weapon.
Mostly because me as the shell doesn't fit that weapon. Being smaller, it doesn't match up, just like I wouldn't match up with that girl. She needs a counterpart to that shotgun. She needs the right shell to fit that, and that was not me.
Not only pointing out the differences, but also pointing out the mismatch. This is just not going to work.
Yeah, it's not going to work. I'm not the right fit for that. Not that I didn't want it to work, though.
Yeah, it sounds like you wanted it to work, because the chorus is, and all those Southern belles I bring home, they're all the same, and when I wake up in the middle of the night, I still call your name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Definitely a plea, a statement of longing.
Yeah, like I said, trying to kind of bury my real feelings by going out and trying to be with a bunch of other women or making it seem like I'm okay, but really in my own personal time, I know I'm not. And even if I tried to hide it, I couldn't. It comes out in my dreams, in my sleep.
Even though you realize it's not a good fit, it will never work out. This type of shell is not designed for this type of weapon. You still have that longing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's something a lot of people have gone through in their life. And heck, I think some people even end up getting married if that's not the right fit. I've definitely seen that before. It's definitely a relatable feeling for everybody.
Is that something you try to do in your songs? Is introduce the elements that are as relatable as possible?
I think they just kind of comes out that way. If I write from my experiences and me being a human, I end up writing about the human experience in general. I think that's why it's relatable. Some of my songs can be more specific especially the ones that are more about my own mental health and stuff like that, might be less relatable to people in general. But I think love, songs about love and suffering from love, are definitely something that almost everyone can relate to. And if you write one of those songs, it's going to come out like that.
Would you like to do that one?
Sure.
My time is wasted, and I am too. I'm drunk on you, and it doesn't seem to me like there's much I can do other than hold fast and follow through. Well, this window panes may now have broken glass, and I knew that this just wouldn't, no, it wouldn't last. From experience in my past, I'm a broken bottle, I'm some broken glass. Try to pick up my pieces and I'll cut you fast. And all those southern bells I bring home, they're all the same. And when I wake up in the middle of the night, I still call your name. You're a 12-gauge shotgun with nothing to lose, and I'm a 410 shell in comparison to you. Oh, ain't that the truth? But I would never put a safety on this, 'cause I like that when I hold you, it's dangerous. And all those southern bells I bring home, they're all the same. I still call your name.
It was also very interesting that you recognize the incompatibility, you recognize how dangerous that might be, but you didn't want to click on the safety.
Yeah. I don't think that I necessarily act the smartest when emotions are involved sometimes, especially in years past. But live life and do things anyways.
Even though they might be a little bit risky.
Oh yeah, more than a little bit risky at times. That's the fun of life, right?
Right. One of the other songs is sort of reaching out, I think, for companionship, reaching out for someone else, and that's Unsteady Unsure. What was the origin of this song?
Unsteady Unsure is a newer song that I've written. It's one of the few songs that apart from writing it intended for accompaniment, I wrote it with my brother AM in the room. We kind of formed the song as a band. But that song's about growing up and not knowing necessarily your place in the world or how you fit in, and kind of coming to terms with that, trying to figure out yourself. And there's definitely more personal meanings to it for me, and my own personal struggle. It's intended to get you thinking about how you fit into the world.
And you have a phrase in here that everyone else is born with no doubt.
Yep.
What do you mean by that?
Growing up, I felt like everybody else knew who they were or what they wanted to be and what they wanted to do. I'd look around me in school and I felt like the only guy who didn't know who he was. And I moved around a lot, and I went to a lot of different schools, and I never felt like I fit in. And so that line's about being young and looking around and feeling like everybody else knows where they fit in, but I don't. Now I don't think that that's something specific to me. I want other people to know that I felt that way, so that they know that they're not alone if they felt that way, or if they do feel that way.
There's also the sense that you can grow and mature and perhaps grow out of it. Well, I guess the best way to say it is the way the lyric says it. What I'm born with is not who I am.
Yeah, I think you can grow up and realize that you are not the set of circumstances you were born into. You don't have to be your class. You don't have to be whatever income you had, or you don't have to be whatever your parents projected onto you either. You can change, and you can find out how you fit into this world in whatever way you need to. I've definitely found that in my life. I never thought I'd be playing music for people or anything like that. I thought I was going to be a scientist. But here I am, doing this thing. I just hope other people see that.
There is the desire for seeking help and having other people give you a hand. Mm-hmm. Is that give you a hand in terms of better understanding where you are, or give you a hand to be more helpful?
It's intended to be holding my hand for support, to kind of help me guide myself, because it can be scary. It's almost through the eyes of a child, saying just like, man, somebody just hold my hand and help me kind of walk on my own and navigate this. But it's intimidating to kind of try to find your own place in the world. That's almost me asking my parents to hold my hand as I try to grow up.
Does that apply now as an adult?
Sometimes. I think it applies as often as you need it to. There's nothing wrong with needing help from other people. And there's nothing wrong with being intimidated by life or the world. And sometimes I'm still intimidated, and you need support. There's nothing wrong with needing support.
Once you get into the song, the title really reflects that combination of unsteady, be my support, and unsure, not I really don't know where I'm going. I don't know what's contributing to my change.
Yeah. I definitely wanted the title to just represent the song without kind of just regurgitating the lyrics at you that you're going to hear. I think it's good. It's representative of it, for sure.
And how do you come up with titles, since you don't believe in repeating a line from the song?
Oh, I try not to. I see the title as an opportunity to add something else to the song. I'm not very good at them sometimes, so I think whatever you settle on's good enough, even if it's some random initials or a line from the song, or there's that rare chance where I can't add something else to it with the title, and I'm always happy when I get to do that.
As you do in this song.
Yeah, I'm pleased with the song as a whole, title included.
In some cases, the title sort of reflects a line from the song, but sort of reflects the essential meaning. You're listening to Music Local and Sustainable, and I'm your host, Dave Lake. Tonight we have in the studio Nathan Rodriguez. Now, earlier you said that what got you sort of started on this route was sharing a song that you felt you had to share with a small group of individuals to get it out, to get the feelings out. And they then encouraged you to share more of what you've done, of what you've written, and that sort of got you on that line. Would you feel comfortable sharing that song that started everything?
Yeah. I'm fine sharing it.
What's the title of this song?
The title of this song is Not Because I Quit. Before I moved down here, I was struggling heavily with depression. I had intent to kill myself. And so this song's actually part of a suicide note that I had left for my family. I ended up getting caught in that and having to face that and my family. But I came home and I still had that note, and so I turned it into a song. It's one of my more driven rock and roll kind of songs when I play with a band. It's just not really how you'd picture it. It's called Not Because I Quit.
Be brave for me.
Yep.
And if I know that, I can go in peace.
Yeah. I had full intent to take my own life, and I wanted my family and friends to just have courage, because I didn't. And I just wanted people to be okay when I was gone.
Now that reflected your feelings toward your family. Did that also reflect your feelings toward your friend who actually did commit suicide?
I'm not 100% sure, because the circumstances surrounding that were different than mine, and my intent, my reasons. It's mostly that I don't want to pretend like that I feel better, or that me wanting people to be brave would have made them feel better, because I know that it probably wouldn't have. I know that I don't feel any better being brave about it and having my friend be gone.
So what you were asking of others may not be reflective of actually what would happen.
No, I certainly don't think so. It was a pretty big wish that they would feel okay at all. At the time, like I say in the song, I couldn't feel the weight of it. So as I wrote that, I certainly didn't take everything into account fully. I was kind of numb to it all.
So the song came out of your experience, but playing it out was the way that you could connect
Yeah.
back to the friend.
I wrote this song from my own suicide note. When my friend committed suicide, I needed to play it for people because it was the closest thing I had on hand to being able to cope. And also it was kind of that last way that I felt that I could be connected to him. It's that last thing that I felt like we could share together. And I think playing it still is my way of connecting to a lot of people. I've had people come up to me after a show and tell me that they had to run to the bathroom and cry because they connected with that song. And they're glad that I played it. They're glad that I allowed them to feel that. So that's why I still play that song pretty much every show. I think it's an important one. It's important for me and it's important for other people.
And even though people may have not considered suicide, the song opens with a line that I think everybody can agree with, and that is, I could have reached out for help, but I didn't.
Yeah. You shouldn't be afraid to ask for help. And I think we inherently are. You don't want to admit that you're weak or that you could handle something on your own, but you need to reach out for help. And if you don't, it can end up like that. It can end up with you feeling like there's nothing left and there's no other escape. So yeah, I definitely think everybody can associate with that feeling.
Is there another song you'd like to talk about? Would like to perform?
Yeah. I'll perform Unsteady Unsure.
Okay.
It's one of my favorites.
I was just a little bit more than confused. You gave me more opinions than points of view. Maybe I'll know when I'm old enough who I'm supposed to be, or maybe not. Maybe not. Help me now, hold my hand. I think I began to understand. Help me now, won't you hold my hand? Help me out, take my hand. I think I began to understand. Help me now, won't you hold my hand? You made sure I had every choice. An inquisitive mind with a quiet voice. 7 years old and you figure out everyone else is born with no doubt. No doubt. Help me now, hold my hand. I think I began to understand. Help me now, won't you hold my hand? Help me out, take my hand. I think I began to understand. Help me out, won't you hold my hand? I think I began to understand. What I'm born with is not who I am. I think I began to understand. What I'm born with is not who I am. Help me now, hold my hand. I think I began to understand. Help me out, won't you hold my hand? Help me out, take my hand. I think I began to understand. Help me out, won't you hold my hand? I think I began to understand.
Now, that song you said you wrote with your brother.
Yeah.
And why did you choose to write that one with your brother?
He was just kind of in the room when I was starting to form it. Just decided to ask for his feedback. So he hopped on the drum set and we started kind of playing. Kind of asking about structure of songs because he's a phenomenal songwriter. You know, he really helped me put kind of the backbone to it. So, you know, I wrote the lyrics and he helped me put the structure to it and then add kind of that full band energy to the song. Now it's one of my favorites to play at any show. I really enjoy it.
And does the structure of the song come natural? Or is that something you have to really work at?
For a lot of the songs, it comes pretty natural. I don't necessarily know if it's diverse from song to song. But occasionally I really want to change it up, or I feel like a song's missing something. That can be where I hit kind of a wall with the structure. You know, do I need to add in a bridge, or do I need to remove a chorus, add in a chorus? That can change the song a lot. There's definitely times where I've had to sit down and really think about it because there's just that missing piece. Changing the lyrics or changing the instrumental part doesn't fix it. Which, you know, can be a challenge, but it's a challenge that I enjoy. I like to sit down with the song and, you know, really figure it out.
Well, tonight we have had Nathan Rodriguez in the studio, and I really appreciate you coming in.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Great. Thank you. This has been another edition of Music Local and Sustainable, and I've been your host, Dave Lake. Save this time for another show next week.
Well, I know we ain't headed for the Hall of Fame. Gonna give it what we got, man, that ain't no shame. Let me know if you can hear me. Check, 1, 2. Let me know if you can hear me. Check, 1, 2.